Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tech Gadgets Verse here, and today, we're tackling a question I know a lot of you have, especially if you're like me and spend way too much time staring at screens. We're talking about monitor tech, IPS, Virginia, and OLED. You've seen these terms thrown around, maybe even noticed them when shopping for a new display. But what do they actually mean? What's the real difference when you break it down? And most importantly, which one deserves your hard-earned cash? Let's get started. First up, let's talk IPS. That's in-plane switching for those who like the technical terms. Now, IPS panels have a reputation for one thing above all else: color accuracy. Like seriously impressive color accuracy. If you're a photographer, videographer, graphic designer, or just someone who demands absolute color fidelity from their display, IPS should be on your radar. This tech allows IPS panels to reproduce a wider range of colors compared to some other types, meaning you get more vibrant images, smoother gradients, and colors that just look closer to real life. And it's not just about the color accuracy itself. IPS panels are also known for their wide viewing angles. You know how some monitors look great when you're sitting dead center, but the colors start to wash out or shift as you move to the side? Yeah, IPS panels don't really have that problem. You can be viewing from pretty extreme angles and the colors still look accurate and consistent. While they excel at color reproduction, IPS panels typically have lower contrast ratios compared to VA and OLED displays. What does that mean in plain English? Basically, blacks might not look as deep and inky. So, if you're a fan of dark room gaming or watching movies with the lights off, that lower contrast ratio on IPS panels might be noticeable. Next up, we've got VA panels, short for vertical alignment. Now, if IPS panels are the color accuracy champs, then VA panels are the undisputed kings of contrast. Seriously, these things can pump out some seriously deep blacks. Remember how I mentioned that IPS panels can sometimes have that glow effect in dark scenes? Well, Virginia panels basically eliminate that. The way the liquid crystals are aligned in a VA panel allows for much better light control, especially in those dark areas of the screen. This means that when you're watching a movie with a lot of dark scenes or playing a game that takes place at night, those blacks are going to look incredibly deep and immersive. It's a level of contrast that IPS panels just can't quite match. But of course, there's always a trade-off. While VA panels excel at contrast, they don't have the same wide viewing angles as IPS. The colors and contrast can start to shift as you move further away from the center viewing angle. Another thing to keep in mind with VA is that their response times, that's how quickly the pixels can change color, tend to be a bit slower than IPS and OLED. Alright, now let's talk about the tech that's been generating a ton of buzz in the display world, OLED. That stands for Organic Light Emitting Diode, and it's a completely different beast compared to IPS and VA. See, both IPS and VA panels rely on a backlight that shines through the liquid crystals to create the image. OLED, on the other hand, doesn't need a backlight at all. Each individual pixel in an OLED panel emits its own light. This might sound like a small detail, but it makes a huge difference in terms of picture quality. Because each pixel can be turned on or off completely independently, OLED panels can achieve perfect black levels. Like true black, where the pixel is literally emitting no light whatsoever. This means no more grayish blacks, no more backlight bleed, just pure inky darkness. And because you're getting those perfect blacks, the contrast ratio on OLED panels is off the charts. They also tend to have wider viewing angles than VA panels, and their response times are insanely fast, even better than IPS in many cases. Alright, so we've covered the strengths and weaknesses of IPS, Virginia, and OLED. But the big question is, which one is right for you? Well, like most things in tech, it all comes down to your needs and priorities. There's no single best display technology, just the best one for your specific use case. If you prioritize color accuracy above all else, and you need those wide viewing angles for collaborative work, then IPS is a great choice. It's the go-to option for photographers, videographers, and anyone who needs their colors to be spot on. If you're all about that cinematic experience and you want your movies and games to have that extra level of immersion with deep, inky blacks, then VA is the way to go. Just keep in mind that the viewing angles aren't as wide as IPS, and the response times might be a tad slower. And then there's OLED. If you want the absolute best of the best, with perfect blacks, incredible contrast, vibrant colors, and lightning-fast response times, then OLED is the future. Ultimately, the best way to decide is to think about how you're going to be using your monitor the most. So there you have it, a deep dive into the world of IPS VA and OLED monitors. Hopefully this video has armed you with the knowledge you need to make an informed decision about which display technology is right for your needs. It's an exciting time to be in the market for a new monitor with so many great options available at a variety of price points. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment down below and let me know which panel technology you prefer and why. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.